Welcome back to Y&R For Life, where we talk about all things Y&R related. We talk about what's going on, what I think's going to happen, my predictions. Hey, we even talk about fashion on the show because I'm a big time fashion girl, so we got to spill the tea about that from time to time. If you're new to this channel, my question is, what took you so long to get here? And if you are returning, what's up? Long time no see. This week, I don't even know if I have words for it. The last 2 weeks have been sleepy. This one was straight confusing to me. I mean, I was really hoping that we would, get this train moving, but what a disaster of a week. But again, we'll get into it. Couple of disclaimers before we jump in. If you don't want to know what's going on, you kind of want to get caught up on your own, this might not be what you want to see or hear, but I am so grateful that you are here. And if you like this type of content, you like what you see, you like what you hear, it would be so nice if you hit that like and subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the bell notification so that you don't miss a single video that I post here on Y&R For Life. I do try and post every Sunday. However, sometimes things happen. Life, we got to be very gentle with ourselves and give ourselves some grace. So sometimes it may not happen due to unforeseen circumstances. And lastly, if I happen to not mention anything, it could be that I plumb forgot or it really wasn't newsworthy. So I didn't bother mentioning it. It is what it is. It's the nature of the beast, so I like to say. But you'll get the gist of it. Hopefully you're caught up. And let's see where this ridiculous week really, I don't even know if it went anywhere. It was just, it was like a mishmash of, let's say you had a bunch of shoes that were all left feet, and then there was like maybe a couple that were two right foot, and you didn't know where any matching pairs were. Like, that's to me what it was like. Storylines all over the map. But again, we'll see. All right. Who do we want to talk about first? Okay. Let's talk about summer with Lil Harrison, Claire, a little bit of Phyllis, and Kyle. What a mess this is. Summer, let me just start off by saying I hope that you sleep well at night, because what you did to poor Lil Harrison, without knowing or without believing the actual facts, just a set of nonsense. And like somebody I know said, she just is exactly like her mother. Now, I'll let you know what happened. Mess. Okay. So Kyle, Audra, and now Claire and Little Harrison were supposed to jet on off to Paris and for Kyle and Audra to have like a business trip. But Claire was going, of course, as Harrison's nanny, which I'm sure something would have happened in Paris between Claire and Kyle. But I digress. Insert summer. And can anybody tell me, side note, who these lawyers were? Okay, so Summer apparently hired some lawyer. Don't ask me the name, not important. Complete extra on the show. And this particular lawyer was able to get a judge to hear her side of the story for Little Harrison to, like, some injunction, if you will, so that Kyle couldn't take Harrison out of the country that he could go, but Harrison had to stay. Summer, you are evil. Now, you wonder why Kyle is forever saying at this point, you're not his biological mother. Like, and you wonder why? Okay, so basically, the backstory, or the very small backstory, is the fact that Summer feels as though Kyle and Audra might have been dipsy-doodling again like they were before, where, quite frankly, the two of them don't trust one another. They at this point, they're only tolerating one another for the good of Glissade. But other than that, they pretty much don't even want anything to do with one another. Kyle literally just wants to get Audra out the way so he could run Glissade by his lonesome and blah, blah, blah. Where Summer has it embedded in her brain that Kyle and Audra are, again, like this, having a romantic relationship. And then she's all boo-hoo over the fact that Claire, her cousin, mind you, let's just put that out there, is going to Paris, and I want to do all these fun things with Harrison. Why does Claire get a chance to do this? Well, because you're too busy, with do good or chance, or whatever you are with Marchetti. Like, you only I don't know, you only do work maybe once in a blue moon, and now you have all this time to get an injunction over Kyle. Like, what is your angle? Just because you want to stick it to Kyle? Okay. And Claire's watching all this go down, and she was like, Claire's facial expressions are like, oh. She ain't saying a word, except for the fact that when Summer and Kyle had an argument while little Harrison was upstairs, mind you, Kyle left because he's like, looky here, I'm going to get my lawyer. Again, this guy looks slovenly. Like, where he got this lawyer from, and I have no idea. And basically, he's like, I'm going to talk to my lawyer. Like, two can play this game, blah, blah, blah. He left Summer in the Abbott house. Why didn't you just kick her out? Why is she just willy-nilly dropping by? Why does she still have a key? I'm confused. I thought she gave that key back a while back. But anyway, so Claire is like, Summer, can I talk to you for a second? And she's like, okay. So she basically shows her a picture that little Harrison drew of, going to Paris and, the family, blah, blah, blah. And everybody smiles and happy. And she's like, I just kind of wanted you to see this, and the fact that he had his heart set on going to Paris. Summer, I don't even want to give you that much airtime, and I feel like I'm giving you way too much at this point. So all you need to know is that Summer ends up going to Phyllis and basically telling Phyllis that she got this injunction and that Kyle can't take Harrison, and thanks, Mom, for your advice and whatnot. Oh, baby girl, I'm always going to be in your corner. But you know that Phyllis is still like, I don't know if she's really doing the right thing here. But she doesn't want to, rock the boat. But Summer is just like, I did it. And, yeah, and, Claire gave me a picture that Harrison drew. And I know she's trying to hurt me, and it did hurt me. Well, all you need to do is say, you know what, Kyle? I was being vengeful. Take Harrison. Because Kyle's like, we wouldn't even be gone a week, man. Like, what is this? What you think you know, you don't know. Anyway, poor little Harrison. The news was broken to him by Kyle that, sorry, he can't go to Paris, and the fact that he and Audrey are going to go for business, but Harrison's like, can I go another time? He's like, sure, bud, we'll go and we'll have fun. Well, can Claire come? Absolutely. How about mommy? Well, we'll see about that. Methinks Summer is not getting invited to Christmas dinner. Now, Kyle is a whole mess on his own with the whole Jack and Diane story, but I think he's being unfairly treated now, not even I think, he is being unfairly treated by Summer with this whole Paris trip because she just doesn't know the facts. She doesn't want to believe it. She's just drumming up things on her own. Anyway, again, I've given Summer way too much airtime, so I am over it. Again, hopefully you're caught up because just a mess. Okay. Who should we talk about next? Sharon. Sharon is still a mad hatter. She is all over the map. So at one point in time, she saw Cassie in some sort of like an apparition, and at some point in time, she heard a knock on the door because Nick had come to see her, ate all her pickle chips, mind you, and because he's worried about her and the fact that, what's going on, they need to have a conversation, and he's like, you picked up this takeout a while back and a while ago and you haven't even touched it, and hence the pickle chips. So fast forward, Nick leaves, and then Sharon is like, what is happening to me? She hears brap, brap, brap on the door. It's Nicholas. And she's like, oh, I think in her dream, she's, oh, did you forget something or what? And he just plants a big kiss on her, and the two of them are kissing in the doorway of her house. And of course, she's like, oh, what is going on? What is happening to me? I'm seeing Cassie. Once again, I'd like to know who this doctor is. He needs to be fired. Unless she's doing it of her own volition and she is just not taking her meds, because later in the week, we hear Faith having a conversation with Nick over the fact that she believes that her mother's forgetting to take her meds. And yeah, just she's seen this like crazy, weird behavior, but she just kind of didn't want to rock the boat. And Nicholas was like trying to say, well, you know what, baby girl, like you're only here for a couple of weeks, and like it really shouldn't be an issue for you. And just then Sharon walks. Again, everything happens at Chancellor Park. Big conversations. That's just the way it goes. So Sharon is, like I said, a mad hatter. She's up and down and up and down and up and down. She ended up having a conversation with Daniel at Society over Cassie's death. And at some point in time, again, where this stuff is coming from, I don't know. he's like, well, I guess it must be difficult for you to have a conversation with me. Oh, okay. She's like, yeah, but, you know, it is what it is. And I didn't can't believe, I think it's been like 25 years since she passed. I'm thinking, wow, I'm really a veteran watching this show from since I was a wee tot. This is why my daughter, who's 9 years old, is like all up in the show. Like she knows all the characters and everything. Although she gives me running commentary when I'm trying to watch it, but I'm like, I don't know. I'm watching it just like you're watching it. But yeah, it's been a long time since Cassie's passing. Anyway, yeah, Sharon and Daniel were having this conversation. In walks Lucy the liar, who basically is texting Faith to find out how did the party go. Right in society when her father's right there. So her father's like, oh, how'd the party go? I want to hear all about it. Oh, it went well, Dad. You know, I met a lot of people, you know, blah, blah, blah. He's like, well, yeah, I was supposed to come and pick you up. But then imagine my surprise when I get the text that, you know, you're coming home, that somebody's giving you a ride. And she's like, well, it was a ride share, you know, perfectly innocent. He's like, no. So he's like, I need to know who's driving you home, if they're responsible, and you know, as long there should be no drinking going on. Again, pan over to Cassie and that situation. And you know, I'm just thinking to myself, why? I mean, okay, yes, Cassie passed away. Daniel was like drunk like no other in the back of the car. But remember, Cassie had a big crush on Daniel. And she probably could have called somebody to come pick him up, but she chose to drive. Now, I'm not saying she deserved what she got. Not at all. It would have been cool to have Cassie and Mariah on the show together. What I am saying is she made that decision at 14 years of age all on her own, and this is what ended up happening. So the fact that Daniel is consistently blaming himself, Daniel, don't give yourself a little grace. I mean, you're not high up in my books because of what you did to Lily. However, give yourself a little bit of grace. Yes, it will torment you because you were in the back of the car, and if you weren't drunk, she wouldn't have driven. There's a lot of shoulda, coulda, wouldas and possibilities, but again, give yourself a little grace. So Lucy's like, Dad, I know all about it. I did some research after I learned about Cassie's death. Well, then. So she went off and did her own little research and found out that Daniel was a part of this whole thing. And she's like, Dad, why didn't you tell me? He's like, well, you know, it's not like I was going to consistently be it's not like blah, 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 that I was going to keep it a secret from you forever. I was just, I don't know. You just would have found out at some point in time. Not now, but you would have. But now you know why I am so protective as I am. Well, that was your little public service announcement for that. So, I still think she's going to end up drinking to oblivion and get herself into some sort of accident. But because, there's always that car crash. They go left, the car goes right. Slippery road, icy road, dry road, sunshine, fog. Always something. So we're going to leave them right there. Okay, Billy, Lily, Devon, Abby, Kyle, I don't know if I'm going to even follow this story properly, but beginning of the week, we saw that Billy brought in a gift for Lily, which was basically a golf club, so they could have office golf again. They played a little office golf. That was kind of aggravating. Kind of didn't need to be there, but whatever. Moving right along. Billy's like, yeah, we work well together as a team. And Billy ended up coming up again. I am condensing this set of craziness because it was just overkill. So push it further down in the week, Billy ends up coming up with a logo where it's like Abbott Chancelor. Abbott Chancelor. And Lily's like, I think Abbott's a little too much in the forefront here, like the S on Superman's chest. No. So he's like, okay, well, what would make you happy? She's like, well, I kind of like when it was Chancellor-Winters. He goes, would that make you happy? Yes. Okay. Done. Like, oh my God. What? Okay, so at some point in time, Devon comes in to the office and speaks to Lily, and she's like, look, if you're here to like rag on me, so to speak, like, can we make this quick? Because I got things to do. And he's like, no. I have something to tell you. Step back. At some point in time during the week, Devon finally, he proposed to Abby. A little wishy-washy, but She said she didn't have to think about it. Yes. Only for what? I don't even know if it was the same day or the next day, whatever. I'd have to check back as to what she was wearing. It doesn't matter. The point is, she's having a conversation with Ashley while she's in like the institute, looking all decrepit and disheveled. And she was like, well, I guess I was going to come see you. But since you don't want me to come there, I guess I'll just tell you that Devon and I are engaged. Oh, that's great. Well, how do you feel about that? So she's like, I don't know. I think that all the newness and I don't know if I make a mistake. Once again, was this the same day or the next day? I don't know. Abby? Really? Okay. And wait a minute. This is a complete off topic. Devon's a billionaire. Is he richer than Victor? I'm confused. Wait, was Catherine richer than Victor? I'm going to have to Wikipedia. I'm going to have to Wikipedia that one. That being said, Abby, gold mine. You hit the jackpot. No, I'm not superficial. But you hit the jackpot. Take it and run. Oh, this show. Well, here's where Kyle comes in the mix. He stormed off, as you know, from hearing about he can't take Harrison to Paris, and he ends up in society, and Abby's like, "Oh, Kyle, Devon and I are engaged. Wee." He's like, "Oh, that's great. Get the divorce papers ready." Get the divorce papers ready, because it's not going to last. Oh. So she's like, basically saying, well, I know you're having problems with Summer, but don't take it out on myself, my happiness with Devon. He's like, try not to. Devon had gone to Victor and said, whoopsie, I jumped the gun. I didn't ask for Abby's, I didn't ask you for your blessing to propose to Abby, and I do apologize for that. But Abby and I are getting married. Victor was like, oh, you don't say. Well, good on you, Devon. And he's like, where are you off to now? He's like, well, I'm going to society to meet, Abby. Well, I'll just tag along with you. We'll have a celebratory drink. Anyway, back to Abbott Chancelor at this point. Oh, Devon had gone to tell Lily that he's engaged to Abby. And, she's like, oh, that's great. But you can tell, like, they're just tolerating one another at this point in time. Devon pretty much knew that Lily was just not going to come over to Hamilton Winters, or whatever the dickens the name is called. If it's just Winters, I don't know. Since he's Devon Winters now, and I'm sorry, he's still in my books Devon Hamilton, but that's just because I've known him to be Hamilton for so long. It's hard for me to remember that he got his name legally changed to Winters. Whatever. Well, if you need any help tasting cakes, okay, yeah, between buttercream and carrot, yeah. Oh, just a mess. So he leaves, and he bumps into Billy at the elevator, which, boy, didn't they change the location of the elevator, like which way it's facing, because that's not the way it was facing before, but whatever. See, I noticed these things. So at some point in time, Billy calls Devon pal, and Devon's like, looky here, as if you even like decide to like hurt my sister, like basically it's on like Donkey Kong fisticuffs type thing. Got that, pal? And I was like, oh, we're throwing around pal, are we? Oh. So yeah, Devon and Abby are engaged. She ain't got no ring, but they're engaged. And not that you need a ring to be engaged. However, I'm all for symbolism. Devon, you need to run on off to the diamond store and get her a rock. 'Cause why? Abby, you hit the gold mine. Okay. Yeah, scene filler. If I've ever seen a scene filler, I don't know. I just don't know why it even came up this week. Honestly, if it never came up, nobody would have missed it. I know I wouldn't have. Tracy and Alan? What? So basically, Tracy got one of her books picked up for a movie deal, and she's all excited. She's going to LA. And Alan's like, "Oh, you're leaving? This is not a good sign." And she's like, "But I thought you had meetings and like speaking engagements." And he's like, "Yeah, I tossed them aside because I wanted to spend time with you." Oh, 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 Alan. Oh, well, story short, she invites him to LA with her. Okay, people, I am just so weirded out by this storyline. Not that I don't think that Tracy deserves love, she does. Once again, after Steve and his nonsense, be gone, Steve. And she needs a constant in her life. Now, is it Dr. Allen? I don't know. Is he even Dr. Allen? I don't know. But yeah, why was that even in the show? Next scene filler, Mariah and Tessa with their like trip down anniversary lane, whichever anniversary, and they had these goofy hats and reminiscing. Like, what was the point of that? I didn't get it. I'm like, this didn't need to be on the show this week at all. Yeah. All right. So basically, the last people we're going to talk about is the Newman clan, along with a side plate of Billy and Sally Spectra. Sally and Billy, or more so Billy anyway, is on the warpath to try and figure out what the dickens is going on between Chelsea and Adam, because he knows something more happened, but somebody ain't talking. And now he wants to get to the bottom of this. By the end of the week, he's like, looky here. We all need to have a sit-down conversation and discuss this. And, of course, Chelsea couldn't look any more guilty. And quite frankly, Adam, he looked just as guilty. All week, Sally's been trying to not necessarily pry information out of Adam, but she's like, I want to help you. Like, I feel like you're leaving something out. You can trust me. You can tell me. That's fine. Sally, you don't want to know this. However, in my head, rip the Band-Aid off, people, and just call a spade, rather than you housing this for, for the longest time, where Chelsea is going to probably be the one that breaks first. She's a basket case. Anyway, back to the Newman clan. Victor basically tells Nikki in front of Victoria that he's going to get Chancellor, the company Chancellor, for her to run. And of course, Nikki is like deer in headlights, like, what? And yeah. So basically, Victoria is kind of losing it a bit because of Billy. She's like, we've been getting along, and he's going to think this is the ultimate betrayal. And Daddy, did you think about him, my kids, and how, how it's going to affect them? He's like, this is business. Da 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 da. Yeah, Billy, I think you're pretty much done. So your big Abbott Chancelor, it's not going to happen. I don't think so. Because Victor already got Mamie's shares. And when that happened, I don't know. So, you can pretty much call this a done deal. But again, that's in my humble opinion. So, yeah, basically the whole family outside of Abby, because she's just like the wayward Newman that just, she's got too many last names. Abby, Newman, Chancellor, Hamilton, Winter. I don't know. Twice removed. I couldn't tell you. Yeah. And anyway, so Adam, Nick, Victoria, which, side note, Victoria's black dress, she looked on point. Why? Because her hair was actually done. She didn't look like she had bedhead and just rolled right out of bed and tumbled on the floor and, shook it. See, this is why I choose to cut mine, because I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with that. Like, good for her, but they finally made her look good. Wait till this week. I'm sure she's going to look like a hot disaster again. Anyway, so yes, Nick, Victoria, Adam find out this information and in front of one another, and Victor's like, finally everybody's in a place that they need to be. Or, so Adam will remain the CEO of Newman Media. Victoria and Nicholas will work together. Victoria will take over Adam's previous position, and then Nikki will run Chancellor all by herself. So she's kind of, she's happy about it, but she's trying not to let on too much, but she's happy about it, and she really wants to do it. So all I can say is, Nikki, do what you have to do. Don't worry about Newman Media, and because really you weren't doing that much work anyway. That's just the harsh reality. So that was pretty much the week. It was, again, this ultimate rickety roller coaster that just went all over the place. It was hard to keep up with, in my opinion. Please let this week be much, 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 much better. All right, folks, if you stuck around to the end of this video, I totally appreciate you. I love you lots, and I'm so grateful that you're on this crazy ride with me. And you know what? We're going to see what next week holds. Again, fingers crossed, it will be much, much better of 5 episodes. All right, guys, you take care, and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and share. Why? Because sharing is caring. At least I like to think so. You take care, guys, and I'll catch you on the next video. Bye.